So over the last few weeks we've been seeing loads and loads and loads of photos of autumn ladies tresses on social media, which is this amazing tiny white little orchid which you can see in front of me. Autumn ladies tresses is one of the first orchids I ever saw on my grandparents' lawn on the Isle of Wight, and they're real sort of botanical helter-skelters of a flower. Here in the New Forest there are thousands of them all across this plain. It's a beautiful evening and I've just found them and I'm really excited, so I want to tell you all about them. My favourite thing about autumn ladies tresses is the fact that they've developed this really cool pollination mechanism which ensures that pollen can be moved from one individual to another rather than pollinating flowers within the same spike. So the flowers open from bottom to top, and the bee visits at the bottom and sort of crawls its way up to the top. These flowers have just started opening, and they're open enough at this stage that the bee can access the pollen, but it can't come into contact with the stigma, the female reproductive surface. And so it's sort of working its way up and it gets some pollen, but it visits the next flower and it can't get in far enough to deposit that pollen on the stigma. And so it buzzes off to the next plant and it joins at the bottom again, where the oldest flowers at the bottom are now open enough that they can receive pollen onto their stigma. So they're able to pollinate the orchids that way. But what it means is that when the bee starts at the bottom and starts working its way up, it picks up pollen at the bottom, but that pollen cannot pollinate the flowers at the top because they're not open enough yet. So it's this really, really cool way of ensuring that pollen is moved between different orchids. Finding autumn ladies tresses is a really special experience, but it's always tinged with sadness in this country because it is traditionally the last orchid to flower every year. But they are, I think, one of the most beautiful orchids in the country, one of the most beautiful plants in the country. And so it really is sort of ending the season on a high, and they are just stunning plants. Yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of the evening lying here watching these orchids and try not to get attacked by ponies.